This grill grate promises to decrease flare-ups and improve grill marks. It's not cheap. To cover half of my Weber Genesis cost me $120. Was it worth it? Let's find out! The ingredients I chose for this test were skin-on salmon fillets and skin-on chicken thighs. Both can cause flare-ups, especially the chicken, so it will be a good test of the new grill grate features. I've salted both the chicken and salmon a day in advance. Before grilling, I dried them thoroughly and coated them in a tiny amount of my standard grilling glaze. For this test, I'll grill half of the pieces on the new grill grate and another half on the stainless steel grate that came with my grill. Both grill grates were preheated with inverted disposable pans for 15 minutes. Around 20 years ago, Cooks Illustrated published this concept in their magazine, and I've been using it ever since. Here's why I do it. A gas grill doesn't get nearly as hot as a charcoal grill. But if you cover part of your grate with an inverted disposable pan or a piece of foil, the heat gets trapped and that part of your grate gets hotter. Lately, this idea went out of fashion. All the grill companies came out with statements warning people not to do it. They claim that it blocks the airflow and creates an unsafe situation. The only way it will block airflow is if you cover the entire grate with foil, which apparently some people were doing to clean their grates. Kids, don't try that at home. Do not cover the entire grate in foil. But if you want a hotter grate to reduce sticking, especially on something like fish, this foil trick is invaluable. After 15 minutes, the grates were hot and my previous meal has burnt off. A clean grill grate is very important. I brushed the grates thoroughly with a grilling brush and wiped them with an oiled paper towel. 2 times for chicken, 8 times for salmon. This repeated oiling makes the grill almost non-stick. For grilling fish, that's a must. I placed 2 pieces on my stainless steel grate and 2 pieces on the new grate. The reason I am placing them skin side up is that the flesh side can be sticky, and browning it first while the grill is particularly hot from the inverted pans will give me the best possible release. I covered the grill and let them brown. After about 3 minutes, they released from the grill and I rotated them 90 degrees for crisscross grill marks. A minute later, I got the grill marks and flipped the pieces onto their skin. You have to be careful with fish. In case you want a full salmon grilling tutorial, the link is below. A couple minutes later, I started to see flare-ups on my stainless steel grate. I had to move the pieces around to reduce the flare-ups and prevent my salmon from tasting like soot. The salmon on the new grill grate produced no flare-ups. After about 3 minutes on the skin side, the fillets were done and I took them off. Let's examine them and see how they turned out. The fillets that were cooked on the stainless steel grate developed a really crispy skin. I didn't have the sound on, but this would pass Chef John's fork test. The flesh had nice grill marks, but also good browning all over. The pieces that were done on the new grill grate had very pronounced grill marks, but not much browning in between them. So parts of the skin were flabby and a big area on the flesh stayed pale. A regular grate required more attention and moving of pieces, but the results had better flavor and texture. I put some thighs on both grill grates skin side down and covered the grill. A minute later, I got grill marks on both grates and flare-ups on the stainless grate. I rotated the thighs to get crisscross grill marks and tried to move them to new areas to reduce flare-ups. The ones on the new grill grate didn't give me any flare-up trouble. Let's give them another minute with the lower heat under the stainless grate. A few minutes later, the skin on the stainless steel grate looked good, so I flipped the pieces onto the flash side. On the new grill grate, the skin between the grill marks was pale, so I tried moving the pieces around so that other parts of the skin could touch the grates and develop some color. In another couple of minutes, I rotated the thighs again to touch up the remaining bare spots. At this point, they looked good and were ready to flip. I cooked them on the flash side until they were nicely browned and reached the internal temperature of 180. Let's take a look at the finished product. The skin browned nicely for both batches. The stainless grate produced slightly crisper skin, but only barely. The flash side is a bit more evenly browned on the stainless grate than on the new grate, but also just barely. What bothered me about the batch from the new grate was the flavor. The fat that dripped out of this chicken accumulated on the grill grate and produced a less than wonderful smell. I can't really describe it as smoky, more like slightly rancid. This grill grate does indeed eliminate flare-ups and produces very brown grill marks. Unfortunately, it comes with some very undesirable side effects. To understand what's so very wrong with it, we need to understand the difference between two types of energy transfer: conduction and radiation. These pretty brown lines are the result of conduction. A hot object touches your food and transfers energy to it. This hot object can be a skillet or a grill grate. Radiative heat is the energy transfer from the heat source that happens at a distance. If you are sitting in front of a fireplace and feel warm, that's radiation. The purpose of grilling is to brown the food from the radiation put out by the flame. Unfortunately, this new grill grate is a two-edged sword. The very metal that prevents flare-ups by catching the fat that drips off the food also blocks most of the radiative heat from the flame. This grill grate reminds me of that most horrible invention known as the grill pan. It paints dark lines on your food, but doesn't make the food either smoky or evenly brown. Now let's talk about cleaning. Getting grease out of this grate is a pain in the ass. It's possible that this mess could be avoided if I used it upside down. This gives you a flat area with holes and should eliminate the problem of accumulated fat. But it doesn't solve the problem of blocked radiative heat. I feel like I wasted $120, but I hope that my experience will save some of you from the same mistake. Here are more thought-provoking culinary videos for you to check out, and if you are ever in the Boston area, maybe I'll see you in one of my classes.